Hi, this is Aurora from the Educating All Learners Alliance, and today you're listening to highlights from Bringing Computer Science to Students Experiencing Homelessness with Code in Motion. In June of 2026, ELA teamed up with the folks behind Code in Motion, a program that brought computer science education to the students and adults in Skid Row, LA. The following is an excerpt from that webinar, and to listen to the full presentation, head on over to the Educating All Learners Alliance YouTube channel. So a little bit of background. This group came together during the ELA Community of Action in May 2025. And I've spoken a lot about the ELA Community of Action. It's our annual in-person convening where we bring together an uncommon group of educators, leaders, and allies we come together, we identify a problem, we propose a solution, and then we pitch a project for actual funding. So during the May 2025 convening, this group came together, comprised of Coach Ron, Kelly, and Heather. They came together, they came up with this idea for Code in Motion. They pitched it in our dolphin tank, like a shark tank, but it's nicer, so we call it a dolphin tank. And they were granted funds based on community participatory grant funding. So this was voted on by the community. It's been a privilege of mine to advise and ensure that this project goes smoothly from a logistics point of view. But the folks doing the hard work are the folks on the panel today that I just introduced. So I'd like to pass it to, I believe I have Heather up first. If you can give us, Heather, just talk us through the origin story of Code in Motion. How did this team come together, and what problems were you trying to address?
Thank you, Aurora. It originally started with Coach Ron and I at the convening. We were both focused on community engagement and really understanding how that works in his community and how it works in our community. He was really focused on workforce development and supporting people that are going through housing instability. And obviously, Boot Up is all about supporting pathways for equitable computer science education at the K-8 level. So it took several rounds for us to really figure out how we could blend those two together. And then Kelly came in as well with Turk and computational thinking and really kept narrowing it down until we decided on creating a project where we would bring computer science education to Skid Row. And Coach really was adamant about making sure that the community was, involved in every step of the process, which is where we have our coaches, that instead of bringing in teachers from outside of the community, we build the community up itself and taught teachers within the community. So Timothy and Ta are two of the coaches that have been in that training program with us and are now teachers themselves. So it's been a beautiful collaboration.
Thank you so much for that, Heather. It's been, like I said, really cool to see these three organizations come together. So on this next slide, we're highlighting Zumbinis. So I'm going to pass it to Kelly to dig a little bit deeper into the content, right? Like what are some of the aspects of the computer science education that you're doing? You mentioned computational thinking. So Kelly, tell us a little bit about that. What makes this program unique, or what really makes this program successful?
Right. Well, let's see. We're three different groups, three different organizations who all came into one place at the same time. Coach Ron is obviously bringing the people in the space, and we'll get to more of his story in a bit. Heather and her wonderful organization, Boot Up, they're bringing the Scratch, which is a block coding program, materials and resources, and all their great PD they do with teachers. Turk is bringing not only our Zumbinis logic puzzle digital games, but also all the unplugged activities. So we really like that balance of on-screen work time and also some unplugged activities that complement and support all the coding work. And I think one of the most important things we try to remember when we're thinking about this as coding and computer science, that in addition to introducing students and adults to computer science, we are training and encouraging thinking skills, not just coding skills. So yes, they're coding, they're learning introductory block coding, but they're really learning how to be great thinkers, which is important whether or not you're coding for a job or trying to walk out the door in the morning wearing the right clothes for the right weather.
Which leads us to workforce development, right? This what's so unique about this program. I'm going to have Coach Ron speak to this. Is that it's not just the children who are learning, and we're not importing teachers from somewhere else. We're training and working with folks right in the community. So, Coach Ron, I'm going to pass it to you. Just tell us more about the program from the workforce side, and how your organization, Fun Zone, kind of really brings it all together.
Hey, once again, thank you, Aurora, for hosting us. Thank the team for being here. Thanks to everybody out there in this public space. Workforce development is very dear to my heart because I understand that, you know, every man and woman would like to have a job. And so when I look at how opportunities come into Skid Row community. It's the homeless capital of the United States of America. You have thousands of veterans that's on the streets. You have women, kids. You have thousands of men. And it's like, to me, they're all able bodied. And so why not give them an opportunity to earn their way to housing? And that's my whole concept. That's my whole vision. And if you're homeless, I give you opportunities to earn your way to housing, then we're reducing homelessness. And so I believe that individuals should have that opportunity. They shouldn't be pandered or be exploited. And that's what happens in Skid Row. I've been there for 20 years and exploitation is rampant. So when this opportunity was brought to myself, and I says, hey, and I always say this. I always say, I'm always in a good position to receive gifts, to receive opportunities. But at this point, I need to play it forward. So I just don't want it for me. I want it for the community. When people say, Coach, here go 40,000, here go 50,000, here go 30,000 to implement this initiative, I said, no, it's not for me. No, let it be for organization so we can build capacity, so we can demonstrate that the need can be met if the opportunity is presented. And that's where the coaching come in. And that's where I really so, excited about Heather and Kelly and Aurora. It's like, you know, just to have these opportunities to come together, to have a planning, strategic think tank to say, you know what, we can implement this, even though it's underfunded. And that's something we communicated to the community. Look, Skid Row is underfunded, but we can demonstrate if the opportunity is presented, we will take advantage of it. And that's what we've done. We have 15 coaches who went through our certification. They got their certificates. They are actually coaches for Code in Motion. Now, when I say workforce, that means you got to go to work. So we give the coaches opportunity. Remember, it's all low barrier, and they come, they perform. They all tell me, Coach, thank you. They thank Heather. They thank Kelly. They really, 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 truly enjoy the training. That's what they like the most. It's like we want to work with the kids, but it's the training. It's really understanding what coding is about, the responsibilities that they are receiving, and the opportunity to exercise that. And that's what I enjoy the most because the coaches are really compassionate. They really have lived experience. And when it comes to mentoring and leadership, this is what kids that are suffering, that are unstable, that are coming from broken homes, that are lacking financial opportunities, this is where they get their motivation from. People who look like them, who live in their communities, who are compassionate about seeing them through. And that's what workforce development is about at Code in Motion. Just making sure all our coaches are lived experience, understand that compassion and love is our only approach.
I wanted to really dig in here and introduce. We have two of the community coaches that were able to join us today. I'm so excited to hear more from Ta and Timothy. So I'll start with Ta. Timothy, I'll cue you in next. But Let's just get started by just tell us about how you got involved with Code in Motion, what the program means to you, and what's the impact that this program has had on you. So, Todd, tell us a little bit about your story and how you got involved.
Okay, how I got involved, been a long time comrade of Coach. And he came up on me and said, "Man, I got this new program about coding. We're gonna be teaching the youth." I'm like, "Coach, I'm all for that. You know, we gotta teach our youth. We gotta teach our youth our culture and our narrative." So he told me the day and I showed up. I met Heather, met Kelly, and it was great. I I fell in love with it. That's how I got to get in with coding. And your other question was, what do it mean for me? What does it mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
means it means a lot. I would say this, being that this year is the second International Decade of African Descent, I think it's coming at the right time that, and then we coach getting us, the leaders from the community. So we're coaching our culture and our narrative. And also we're teaching something that's could change the world. I would like to look at it like this, that we're teaching these young youth and adults, and I want to be that one who inspire that spark in that young student or that middle adult that make them think differently and create this new thing that's going to change the world. And I'll be happy. I'll be happy. I coached that one right there, and I'll be happy with that. So I do want to leave a legacy and an image of what we are doing. And I think this is a great opportunity for it to happen. And I appreciate Coach and Heather and Kelly for coming together, and you as well, Aurora, for you the quarterback in it. You throwing the passes, and we're I guess we the receivers. And these are the team captains.
I like to say I like to say I'm the Rodman. You guys are Pippen and Jordan.
There you go. There you
I like
go.
I set you up. You guys do it though. So
You got it.
I'm the Rodman. I'm the Rodman.
Set us up. So, it is great. I have so much. I will be sitting here talking forever about the scenarios. Anything else? Okay, you say when I started and what I love about it, and I want to continue. I really do.
Yeah.
I want to continue.
Yeah. Thank you for that. We're going to talk more about your more specific experiences, but thank you for that overview and that, this like a ripple in the pond, right? This one small thing we're doing, can hopefully spread out, try to find future funding or just spread the word. Even people attending this webinar today or watching the recording back, spread the word about this work that we're doing because it can have such a great impact. So let's hear from Timothy. Tell us a little bit about you, how you got involved. What does this program mean to you? What have you gotten out of it? Or yeah.
All right, well, thank you for allowing me to be here. Number one, peace and blessings to everyone that's here. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am an individual with street lived experience. Let's put it like that. And, it was a blessing for me to be able to do this. I found out about it when I moved into my first apartment here at the UMass. They had this little thing going on where you can train to do code in motion. I didn't know what it was at that present moment, but I had nothing else better to do. So I wanted to learn more about it. I went there for the first day and I got hooked ever since then, because it's right up my alley. I love giving back to my community because like at one point I was really, really terrible to my community. So as maturing in life and becoming the person that I am today, I love to give back to my community because my community is my home. That's where I live, and I will never forget about my community. My community made me who I am today. So so it's a pleasure to be able to, you know, help the next generation out. It's a blessing to be able to do that because, as a leader, the greatest thing that a leader can do is teach another individual how to lead. And I believe this is where code in motion comes in at, especially in our urban area where young men and women need to see, leaders, because we don't have none down here. We really don't. A lot of fakeness going on. So when they see this, that inspires them to want to do something different in life than what they're accustomed to seeing in the streets. And when we come around for, no matter if it's just for like 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours, it brings a positive impact to their life. Where they want to learn, they're willing to learn, and it brings me joy to see that they catch on so fast, and they're willing to do this to the point where now, they're teaching us a lot of things, and that's a blessing.
That leads me to my next question for you. Here, I'm going to go to the next slide just so because I love looking at these pictures. Let's talk a little bit about like some specific experiences, maybe a specific example. Or Timothy, tell us about like when you're working with a student, how do you know they're getting it? Right? Like how can you tell that they're learning? What are some things that you see and happening?
Is when they take the wheel.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. When they take the wheel, I can step back for a little bit, and watch them, because I might learn something, and that's when I know that they're in the zone on what they're trying to do and what they're trying to learn and what we're trying to teach them. And that's man, that you don't understand how much that's a blessing. That's really a blessing to me.
I taught folks in the Eliverse who've listened to my podcast or know me know that I spent about 10 years teaching arts, teaching dance in Brooklyn in public schools and in some of the poorest and most underfunded neighborhoods. So the that seeing my students being able to like choreograph a dance or say, "Hey, Miss Dreger, look, let me show you the step. Remember the step you taught me? Here, I'm going to show it to you." Right? Like when they turn it back and teach you something, that's incredible, and I love to see that. And it's happening in this program to kind of bring it home. I want to do I want each person to give me like one big takeaway. Like people who are listening, if you want folks to walk away thinking about or remembering one thing from today, I'm going to start with you, Timothy. Then I'll go Timothy, Ta, Coach Ron, and I'll keep going. So, Timothy, last thoughts, closing thoughts, big insight. Well, what do you want people to walk away from this experience thinking about?
That whole emotion is worth it.
Mm.
It's really worth it. And I'm gonna say this. I would like to thank Heather, Kelly, and Coach Ron for, bringing this to the Umea apartment, because it it helped me throughout school. Like I learned how to focus more when I was doing coding motion and when I was learning coding motion and when I was out there in the field teaching kids about coding motion. I learned a lot about myself, and it helped me throughout school. When I was, like when I'm with the kids and I'm presenting, it it gave me the confidence and the experience to be able to go in class and present my presentation in front of the whole class. And that meant a lot to me, and I know that if that did that for me, for me, I know what it can do for a child. I know what it can do for another adult. It's all about planting seeds, and watching it grow. And that's what we're doing within our community. We're planting seeds. Not only for the kids, but for the adults. The adults want to learn also.
Yeah.
Education is infinite, knowledge is infinite. And everybody has the right to learn. So just being able to teach in my community and you know with help, we're going to plant more seeds in other communities that really need it, that deserves it. We're trying to kill stigmas of our community, and this is where it starts at. And I'm a true firm believer in killing the stigma of Skid Row. I'm a true firm believer of that. And, with the help of Coach Ron, Todd, and a few other people, I mean, we're going to end the stigma of Skid Row, and by doing this is just the start. This is just the start. And, with help, we could go far. I mean, extremely far with this. This is just the beginning of it. This is
love
just
that.
the tip of the iceberg, really.
Tip of the iceberg. I love that. I'm going to go to Todd for your close thoughts. Thank you so much, Timothy.
Yes. As I salute you, Timothy. I want to share my appreciation for you, Timothy, working alongside of you. I want to share my appreciation for you, Coach, for having the idea of bringing this to the community. And I want to thank you, Heather and Kelly, for meeting Coach and putting it together. And I want to talk and I want to lead the last one, Dennis Rodman, the feeder, Aurora, for bringing us all in, and I just want to say this, reflecting off this picture. Learning, healing, and growth, it happens collectively. It happens collectively. As in the picture, you got an elder teaching the two youth. And believe me, if one of these students have a question, the other one is going to get the information as well. So if they both ask the right questions, they're going to have everything they need. So learning, healing, it works together. That's why we're out here learning, healing, and progressing our future.
I love that. Thank you. We have 2 minutes left. I want to hear from Coach Ron. Closing thoughts.
Now, quickly, summer's coming up. Support the summer program. School is out June the 12th. So we got a few weeks. If you guys feel the need to see this continue past the funding cycle, summer is needed. Support the program.
Love that. Oh, sorry. Heather, closing thoughts or final words?
Really quickly, I know we're almost done. I want to thank you really quickly, Aurora, for convening a space where I could meet Coach and Kelly in this cross-sector collaboration, which I never would have had a chance to meet them. And more importantly, not more importantly, but just as importantly, Ta and Timothy, and being exposed to the Skid Row community, which by far is one of the most beautiful communities I have ever stepped foot in. I've learned so much, and this is the most impactful, profound project of my life. Thank you.
Kelly.
Agreed. We're open from all sides. We brought stuff to Skid Row. Skid Row brought stuff to us. We've never seen such a love of community as we saw there on the ground. It's great. And we hope to keep doing it. We're putting in proposals. We're looking for funding to keep things going, and we'll get there.
And
I'm gonna quote Timothy really quickly. You said this a couple meetings ago. Learning should be free.
Oh,
Should
yeah.
be free. Unfortunately, we need some funding to get there, but we're gonna keep it going.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you to folks who were listening, folks who are watching back, and for my panel. And you all kept thanking me, Aurora, for bringing you together, which I appreciate. I'm, again, like the organizer, but it's the funding that we got from ELA, from Innovate EDU, and further up the chain from this funding was made possible through the Oak Foundation. So thank you to them as well. So I've been really excited and happy to be able to facilitate all these years, especially this one. Not allowed to have favorites, but this one has a special place in my heart. If you want to stay involved and remain connected to ELA, shoot me an email, aurora@innovateedunyc.org. If you got resources you want to share, shoot them my way. Email me. You want to get involved, want to learn how to become a partner, send me an email. We'll figure out, make it happen. You want to look for some free open access resources, free, completely free, no catch, visit educatingalllearners.org. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm Aurora from ELA, and this was a fantastic webinar with Code in Motion by Sparks. Thank you, everybody. That's it for us today, folks, but you can hear the full conversation on our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and follow us on social media. I'm Aurora from ELA, and this was the Deep Dive with Code in Motion.